Hey, quirky humans! Today I want to talk to you about 5 ways to make cleaning a little bit easier, especially when you're feeling low energy, overwhelmed, or you kind of just lack the motivation to do it, which is totally fine. This happens to all of us, and that's what we're going to talk about today. If we haven't met yet, my name is Isabel, and on this channel, we talk all about embracing your weird in order to build a better brand, business, and life. So let's go. My favorite method for cleaning up my house or tidying my house comes from Casey Davis. She wrote the book How to Keep House While Drowning, which I highly recommend if you're the kind of person that tends to get overwhelmed, or especially if you're the kind of person that tends to shame yourself around not having the perfect house, right? She offers such a compassionate, shame-free approach to cleaning, and it really does make a difference to do it without the shame than to do it with the shame associated with it. So her 5-step method is really simple. It just goes, step 1 is trash. So you look around your house and you grab anything that is obviously trash and you put it in the trash can. Very simple. Step number 2 is dishes. You gather up all the dirty dishes and you go and put them by the sink or in the sink. Now, you're not going to do the dishes. You're just taking them to the sink so that they can be done later. Right now, we're just tidying up. The next step, step number 3, is laundry. And same thing, we're going to gather up all the laundry that's you can clearly see, and you're going to go put it in the hamper or in the laundry room, wherever you do your laundry. Again, you don't need to do the laundry right now. We're just tidying up the space. Step number 4 is things that have a place. So look around the room and identify things that you know have a designated spot where they go. And for these things, just go grab them, put them back where they belong. And step number 5 is, of course, things that don't have a place. And so for step number 5, she suggests, well, gathering all those things together and starting to make decisions. Are we keeping this, or are we not keeping this, or do we need to give this back because it's not ours, or finding a spot for that thing. And so that next time you go through this method, that object goes into the things that have a place category. It is super simple, but it goes from easiest step to hardest step because locating trash is really easy. Just gathering up dishes is really easy. And so this really helps, I find, especially neurodivergent brains or brains that are stuck or are in stuck mode because of depression or anxiety or something like that. It really helps you get moving because the steps are so concise, so clear, and so easy. I love this method and I do it all the time. However, today I want to give you 3 ways to make that even easier if the thought of doing this around your entire house is still overwhelming you. So, way number 1 is to reduce the area or reduce the scope. So what do I mean by that? I just told you to go do this around your entire house. But if that feels too overwhelming, you can just start with one room, let's say the kitchen. If that still feels overwhelming, you can just say, okay, I'm going to do my countertop, or I'm going to do one drawer. Make the scope as small as you need it to be so that it doesn't feel overwhelming anymore. Once it doesn't feel overwhelming, you can get started and go through the 5 steps in that space. And once that space is done, you can decide if you want to do the next space or if you're ready for a bigger space. Or maybe not, you just want another little space. That's fine. But the idea is to reduce the scope until it doesn't feel overwhelming anymore so that you can get started faster. Way number 2 is instead of reducing the scope, focus on just one step. So instead of saying, oh, I'm just going to do this drawer, but I'm going to go through all 5 steps, you would say, hey, I am going to do the full kitchen, but all I'm looking for is trash. I'm just going to do step 1. Or I'm going to do the bedroom, but all I'm looking for is to pick up the dishes and take them to the sink. By doing a single step in the process, this will help you see a big change quickly because it's a bigger space, but you're doing a lot of stuff of just one step. But because you're only doing one step, again, it doesn't feel as heavy or as overwhelming. And my final tip to you is with step number 5, the things that don't have a place, if you're struggling to make those decisions, so let's say you went to your kitchen and you did steps 1 through 4, and now you're on step 5, and it's all these things that don't have a place, and you don't know if you want to keep them or not, or if they're yours or not, and it's just overwhelming you to think about doing step 5, that's okay. Put all of those things in a box or in a basket and leave them there. Here's the thing. First of all, if you can't find something, you now know it is in that box because all the things that don't have a place are in that box. So at least you know where it is. Second thing, it's contained. Instead of the clutter being everywhere, it is in a single box, and that makes it less overwhelming to deal with on a daily basis. Your life, I mean. And so as your overwhelm goes down, it'll make it easier for you to then go and tackle that box. The other thing, though, is that also when you need something and you're like, oh, where is this thing? And you're like, oh, right, it's in that box of things that don't have a place. Well, now you can grab this object and make a decision just on this single object, AKA you make the decision only once you use the things that are in the box. That makes it so that it's just one decision at a time when you need the thing, instead of having to make decisions about 100 items in an hour. And the last thing about that is that you'll also realize what items you don't actually use, because time will start passing by and then suddenly you'll be like, oh, it's 3 months later. There's still things in that box. So if I haven't used this in 3 months, do I actually need it? And that will help you also declutter items that you don't actually need. Whereas if you hadn't put them that way, they might still be sitting in, the corner of a room, and you might just not notice them because you're not using them. But now, because they're contained and they're in this box, you're like, I haven't used any of this in 6 months. What's up? So those are my 3 tips for making Casey Davis's already super simple method even easier for overwhelmed brains. Again, I love this method because of the shame-free approach. When you are exhausted as a human, when you have too much going on, when you are overstimulated or overwhelmed, or you lack the motivation, it's really easy to be hard on ourselves. It's really easy to shame ourselves and feel guilty and feel like we should be doing more and we should have the energy and we should this and we should that. But at the end of the day, what's important is that you are okay. And shaming yourself is not going to help you get okay. So if you're feeling stuck, try these things, shrink the scope, do just one step, or postpone the stuff that you need to make a decision on. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. Progress is progress. And I'd love to know in the comments, what one tip do you think is going to help you particularly the most? If you enjoyed this video, also please like and subscribe. I make new ones like this every single Friday. So until then, stay weird, stay wild, and I'll see you in the next one.